Human Rights by Benjamin Creme's Master. A Master Speaks, Volume 1, page 55. The question of human rights is at the center of modern man's problems. In the past, the social structures dominated the lives of the individual and set up a hierarchical series of relationships in which everyone knew his place. The wife obeyed the husband, the man obeyed his lord, the Lord obeyed and carried out the will of the king, while the clergy acted as intermediaries between God and man. These relationships, while artificial and imposed, serve the needs of societies struggling to find their identities and place in the world. Today, all of this has changed. Apart from a few areas in which the ruling groups cling to the old forms, often at the cost of civil dissension and war, the peoples have asserted their right to self-determination. They have taken upon themselves the responsibility for just government, and by various procedures of representation can make their wills known. More than ever before, the peoples are calling for a closer participation in the decisions affecting their lives. This new freedom has set up a number of tensions which await resolution. Everywhere, the cry for more freedom sounds forth, answered by an equally stringent call for order and the rule of law from groups concerned with maintaining the existing structures. Altogether, new approaches are required to harmonize the aims of these opposing groups. That such harmony may be slow and difficult to attain must be accepted. That many conflicting viewpoints must be reconciled is self-evident. Yet while we await the solution of these problems, it might be advisable to set down some basic principles, some guidelines, without which the problems may appear to be intractable. The first consideration is that the laws governing society should be fair and applicable to everyone. Without such basic justice and impartiality, no one can be expected to observe the law. Frequently today there is one law for the rich and another for the poor, a certain recipe for social strife. A further need is for the laws to be known and understood, and couched in language accessible to all. Too often are men held prisoner and judged to be guilty of breaching laws long outmoded and known only to specialists. The greatest need is for an ever closer identity of interest between the individual and society. Only thus can the freedom of one and the sustainability of others be preserved. How can this best be achieved? The United Nations organization has formulated a code of human rights which, if implemented, would go far to resolve the existing social tensions and to provide the basis for a just and stable society. So far, this universal declaration of human rights remains but a dream for millions of dispossessed and disenfranchised people in every country in the world. The aim must be to establish, with all possible speed, these basic rights in all nations. With the acceptance of the principle of sharing, this becomes possible. No longer need men fight for the right to work, to feed their families, for a measure of control over their destinies. At a stroke, the acceptance of sharing will heal the divisions, end the confrontation, and cure the malady of the present situation, leading men out of the morass in which they have foundered, making sharing then the goal of your endeavor. Show that the world now needs more than ever in its history the establishment of this just and basic principle, through the acceptance of which alone man will find and demonstrate his divinity.